Welcome back to Windmill Tournament 15 here, the 2019 edition of this historic tournament, coming to you live from Amsterdam, bringing you mixed semi-final action on the field behind us. France take on Germany, but we're keeping the action here in the game you want to watch. Shenanigans taking on the double reigning champions, the Netherlands' own GRUT. Benji Reese in the game, delighted to be joined by Sarah Sparks. What is sure to be a spicy affair, Sarah.
Very much looking forward to watching this game. Seen both teams on the stream this morning looking strong. GRUT, very established team, as you say, from the Netherlands, on their home turf. Shenanigans, bit more of a pickup team, but have found each other really well this weekend. I'm hoping for a close game. Let's get going.
Yeah, Shenanigans a firm favourite. This is, I think, their third windmill in a row, mostly the core from Las Vegas, Nevada, so it's great seeing teams come all the way over from the States, and they're a fan favourite with their slightly speculative play and their interesting jerseys and shorts. They're certainly one of the teams that everyone talks about, and they're going to begin things on offense here, bricking that ball. It lands out of bounds, and we are underway in Amsterdam. Nice inside shot to start there. Faking around, not a lot going on. Turns around, isolates the reset. Now flowing down that break side. Looking downfield. Good coverage though from the Dutch. Tries to squeeze it past the bidding defender, leaves his feet, can't get there, then running the give go almost all the way to the end zone, and eventually just dishing it into the end zone. Kyle Henke finds his target. for the goal, and that was a pretty solid start from Shenanigans.
I'm not really sure I've ever seen somebody utilise the fact that their defender laying out for them and not getting up quick enough. Never seen such movement. He just absolutely went, and I don't even think Koumans had even picked himself up off the ground. Rouse trying to keep up with them, trying to stop the play, but just too much. And by the time he's all caught up, it's too late.
Did exactly the right thing. As soon as that defender doesn't get there, you know it's going to take a couple of seconds for them to get back on that mark. So really utilising that quick disc movement through the open players. Nice smart play there from Shenanigans, and we're now going to see the first GRUT O-line of the game.
Some tactical changes from GRUT. So we see Tom Blossman, a new addition to GRUT, absolutely fantastic player. Only 16, so the mind baffles he's going to achieve in the next few years. And Jonna Janssen, who normally appears on the O-line, seems to be frequenting a little bit more on the D-line.
Sometimes it's nice to have those O-line players cross over. It gives more of a steadying presence behind the disc. If you can get those turns. Oh, nearly dropped the ball, tried his best. Was able to save it in the end. And they're going to get a nice yard going into Minard. She finds Coularts. She sends it deep. Got a man with separation, goes up, makes the catch, just Walt Janssen, disses it back off to Van der Weyden. And a nice blade over the top. That's signature GRUT, that is. And they tie things up at one apiece.
I think I lost my breath there. When Blossom went to collect the disc, his parents are sitting right next to us and they gasped as well. They couldn't believe it. Managed to regain control of that catch. What a relief. You don't want your first point to be a drop pull. So great work there from GRUT. After that, just perfect offense. Calling for women, I like that call. As we see on the replay from Coulards, looking for Walt Janssen. All the faith in the world.
Yeah, they're a team that is known for a slightly swashbuckling style of ultimate. They're more than happy to put it deep and back their receivers. And when you've got receivers of these quality, it totally makes sense that you do that. Our main man, Lorcan Murray, bringing us chips and falafel. What an absolute hero. Didn't bring any mayonnaise, though. Not very European. Had to leave the dips down there, apparently. Shocking behaviour. Big pull. This is much better pulling there that time from GRUT. Centering pass for Shenanigans. Thierry Artes, veteran presence on this side. Puts the mark on. Oh, blade is overthrown. Tipped at the end, but it had already gone by that point. And now Artes pick up the disc off the turn. First look is deep, but there's nothing going on. Very static downfield. GRUT does a very good job finding the poach. Then Rouse right the way on the far side of the field. Down for Dam. A little bit high, but she makes the catch. Fakes downfield. Janssen cutting, but happy to lose yards on that swing in order to maintain possession. Rouse is the spirit captain for this GRUT side. So look to her if there's any discussion, she'll make herself involved and help out when need be. Here's Artes. Finds Dam in the centre of the pitch. Artes clears through, gets it, tries to milk it into the end zone, does so. GRUT draw first blood in this game, Sarah. They break for a 2-1 lead.
Got to keep looking for Dam as your continuation cutter. A lot of poaching going off in the handler space, but finding Nina Rouse to keep swinging. Think she could push it a little bit more. They did lose quite a lot of yards, but, well, if you're trying to retain possession, that's absolutely fine as well. Zippy inside throw there from Artes, and we see on the replay. And Dam also proving that she's not just a great cutter, she's also a great thrower. Throwing it under a little bit of pressure from the force, but very casually, high release backhand to the break side.
The one thing I will say about losing a lot of that field position with the dump is actually sometimes it can be really difficult to score when you get right close to the end zone, because you only can work laterally. You can't stretch the field vertically anymore because there's no more deep space. So actually, sometimes flowing backwards to lose a couple of yards can be advantageous, because then it opens up that deep space again, and it just gives defenders something else to think about, even if that throw doesn't necessarily go. Bit of wind picking up now. This pitch a little bit more exposed than the other side of the field. Port's lashing it deep. There's a defender there, can't get there. Nice little bit of flair on the take. Spikes it over his back as well. That's a way to answer back from Shenanigans. Nice little slap of hand. Spirit very high in this semi-final as well. Tied up at 2 apiece.
Null is going to be one of the big targets for Shenanigans. Also not afraid to lose it deep, but also great deep receive. You see the amount of elevation he just got in the air there. On the replay, here goes Huck. He's got Steinhausen chasing. Also massively athletic player, but not fussed by the oncoming defense. And great work to catch up, but just no debate there, really, who was going to get that disc.
There is a lot of athleticism on display in this game. The American team's generally known for being very athletic, but GRUT is partly as well for being so young. They're so athletic, and you can see that in the way they play. They're more than happy to throw themselves around defensively on offense. They're not afraid to put those big shots up. More comfortable catch off that pull by Boom. Centers it. Van der Weyden finds Kulatz. Kulatz shooting deep, looking for Walt Janssen. Oh, it's going to hang a little bit. Defender gets there, but can't get there in time. Janssen skies Roach for the grab, and GRUT retake the lead at 3-2.
Kulatz did have an open option under with Leininger, but thought, no, I see Janssen going deep, and I'm going to take that. And knowing how much of a good thrower Kulatz is, that's on. Even if it's floating, Walt Janssen is so strong in the air, one of the strongest aerial players, I would say, in this division. There's so much trust in this team.
Kulatz is one of these really pick your poison players, because obviously if you give her the honor, she's going to take that, and she can pretty much hit any part of the field at any time with her throws, but try and get her away from the disc, and she's more than happy to rinse you deep. And actually, one of the reasons why GRUT have generally been so hard to defend is that multiplicity they have. Everyone's comfortable with the disc in their hands. Everyone's comfortable going deep, so it means they can alter these matchups and change positions if they want to try and utilize the best mismatches downfield. Artes is going to pull for the Dutch side, currently leading 3-2 in this mixed semi-final here at Windmill 15. Megan catches and centers. Going to start underneath. Steenhausen was looking at a bid, but was never going to catch up with Henke in time. Nice yard gainer there. Working it towards that far sideline. Trying to trap them here. Little stoppage for a pick. You see the hand signals being used, making job easier for the players on the field and for all the spectators on the sideline and us in the booth as well.
Yeah, a little bit of a cluttering there from Steinhausen and the Shenanigans player, but resolved very quickly. Good work there from both sides.
It's a nice active mark from Artis. Just about squeezes that through a seemingly non-existent gap to the middle of the field. Question maybe about whether he got it off in time. I think this is a stall out call here. Did feel like he had the disc for a while.
So contested stall coming in on 8. Do love a bit of spice. I'm expecting a hammer to the other side. Looking for Mian.
Do the thumber, make me happy. Oh, just pretty much knives it into the middle of the pitch. Unorthodox, but it worked. Knew he had to get rid of it and just did it any way he could. A nice continuation flowing towards the far sideline for Mian. Making the catch. And we are tied up at 3 apiece. A little bit dicey at that point from Shenanigans, but they didn't show much fluster. There was one point they got trapped on that high stall, but they were able to get it off and do tie things up at 3 apiece. So there's a little bit of a discussion going on there. I think maybe just with the level of physicality maybe that's going on the marks and downfield. So especially when it's two teams who don't necessarily know each other in the first points of the game, there is a bit of a feeling out process, both metaphorically and sometimes literally, just knowing how much contact and physicality are we happy to play with and we happy to accept. So if the game does get tight later on, you're not making calls where you kind of thought that was acceptable based on the way the game's gone, and then kind of changes when it gets down to that real tight end of the game.
Yeah, good to nip it in the bud early, set the expectation. GRUT will be a physical team. They've been playing at high level mixed for years now. And sometimes when you do get to this kind of level of ultimate, you are going to expect a bit more physicality.
Yeah, and part of playing well-spirited is calling things consistently throughout the game, so it's good to get that established nice and early. Van der Weyden fills it on the hop, centering past her, and Minard. Finds Coulart's coming downfield, gets her body behind the disc, but makes that catch comfortably, fakes downfield. Swing goes to Lako van der Weyden, who was Ulti-World's breakout player of the year for Europe in the mixed division last year. Oh, and a simple drop just off the hands of Janssen, maybe a bit too nonchalant with that one. So Shenanigans get a chance to earn that break back. Metzler's going to pick up on the far sideline. Harris is the reset player, trying to squeeze it down there. See, Coulart's get the foot in the way, high release flick. Finds Harris into the center of the pitch, nice yard gainer there. Good field position as well, both sides to attack, and Janssen makes amends by stealing that disc back. And they're going to look it deep for Van der Weyden. Normally even a hand in space. Oh, there was a bit of contact as the player tried to come around the side to get the bid in, and I think kind of slowed Van der Weyden down slightly.
Yeah, Van der Weyden is a really good deep receiver as well as a fantastic handler. Very much likes to bust out of the handler space to be unpredictable, like you said earlier, Benji. Do you feel like he was somewhat hindered? We all know he can go for a huge layout grab, even if there was a bit of contact. He could have had that second option, but I also just think that the first option was a possibility. Discussion going on quite a while as well.
You see both players there just acting out how they think it all played out.
Looks like there is an uncontested foul with a little bit of a shimmy. Never going to deny a good dance whilst you're doing a spirit call.
So they're going to go and check the disc in. Van der Weyden will pick it up and bring it to the end zone line. And just the cheeky flip. Although there is a travel call. I don't think maybe he's saying didn't quite walk it to the front of the end, to the right position.
I was also wondering whether he was going to debate whether it was a pick, whether it was going to be checked in. Obviously, some of these players are American and will play with USAU rules. USA, if you do have something like this, you do have to check the disc in on the line. Europe, you don't need to. If you're on the line, you can throw it whenever you want.
Yeah, as soon as you set that pivot foot, you can go. You don't need to ground check the disc. They're just establishing exactly where it needs to go. So we'll see if they try the same thing again. Just going to die a slightly different look, trying to isolate Coulart's maybe at the front of the end zone. Both a little bit scrambled cutting, but Coulart's works her way free to the break side, and Van der Weyden breaks the force with relative ease, putting out a little soft backhand for her to run onto. We take the lead now at 4-3.
Agree with what you just said there, Benji. A little bit messy in the end zone, but always nicely resolved with Van der Weyden, Coulart's combination. This will be Van der Weyden's last tournament with GRUT for the foreseeable future, as he's going to be moving to Australia later in the year. So big loss for this team, not just as a player. He is fantastic as an O-line handler, but also just his charisma and his leadership. He's also just fantastic off the field. He also helps out at the local club UFO, which is my team.
From Utrecht?
From Utrecht. So he is going to be sorely missed by us, and we definitely believe that he will be sorely missed by GRUT. We'll give also the opportunity for some of the other GRUT players to really step up in that handler space. So doesn't surprise me they're taking people on like Blossman, Scholten, just adding a little bit more fire, young blood into the team.
I'll be eager to see his Australian exploits. He was a player who really stepped up in Ben Ort's injury absence last year, and they're going to have to find someone else to take that role this year as well. Ort going to be out for the foreseeable future with an unfortunate knee injury as well. So it's good to see, as you mentioned, integrating not only new players, but new young players. You forget how young the core of this GRUT team is. A lot of them are going to be competing at the World Under-24 Championships in Heidelberg next month, playing for the Dutch mixed side. Here's Henke. Sliding grab, makes the catch, gets up, trying to blade it towards the far side. Artes is looking at it, can't quite get there, makes a snag with the left hand. And Shenanigans, even it up in style, tied at 4-all. Neither side really able to pull ahead in this game, been very clean so far.
Very clean so far, but GRUT are actually up a break. So at half, if they can continue this, they will be going out with an advantage. One thing I would like to say, without sounding too critical of Shenanigans, is that I would like them to throw it to their women a little bit more. Do you feel like a lot of the plays are centering through their men? And this is why it does not surprise me that GRUT is calling for women very frequently.
Sorry to cut across you, but I don't know how much of that is just the style of play or how much is based on what the core of the team is. Potentially a more male-dominated core, which means that they've kind of got a bit more chemistry, but there's definitely a thing as well when integrating new players in. Generally, guys seem to find it a bit harder throwing to women than they do to blokes. That ball tails off out of this sideline. Sometimes you do see this with pools where it holds its shape until it gets high, and when it's above the stands, all of a sudden the wind picks up a little bit and it just changes its shape slightly. So boom, brings in the disc, off the brick. GRUT takes off deep. There's a nice poach off the back of that stack. Dissuading that deep look from going, but it's going to go anyway, and why not when you can do it like that? Hand slaps and high fives all round. Fantastic play. They make it look so easy, Sarah.
I'm really liking the Ebhardt-Kolatz matchup. I've watched some of Shenanigans games earlier today, and she was a real powerhouse in the deep space. She was even set up in the deep, in the zone. And then the team this morning decided to chuck it to a bloke deep. She got a D on him. Classic. Do you like that tactic as a choice?
Sometimes doing it there, it baits it a little bit because they think, oh, we've got a guy and a girl, so we can win this matchup. But obviously, you've got to think about she's there for a reason. You wouldn't put anyone deep if you didn't think they would be able to make those Ds. You can see there, Artes just giving a little bit of instructions. Looks like it really wants them to be active on the force, really on the balls of their feet, getting ready to go, getting in the way, and also meaning that if there's any throw and goes, they can get on the move really quickly. So the pull goes up from the aforementioned Plasman. Sits a little bit, it's going to just about land out of bounds. Pretty much the same place the last pull did. Shenanigans will get it. Mark. Artes setting on the force. Looking deep. There's a nice isolation there. Just misread it ever so slightly. Got slightly far too underneath the disc. It's created so much separation with the cut.
Yeah, Minakova going deep and ever so slightly too far ahead of her. Had Jonna Jonsson a bit off guard. So now the opportunity for GRUT to work it all the way up the pitch and go for this upwind break.
Yeah, we did mention how they'd mainly played through their men, and so maybe caught a little bit off guard by that deep look, but weren't able to bring it in. So as you mentioned, here is another break chance for GRUT. Damn, trapped on the sideline. Lovely around throw into the middle. No one obviously is a defensive force and a big receiver, but more than capable with the disc in her hands. Big Bid comes flying through and is going to get the turn back. Tracksuit trousers fall down, he pulls them back up, resets his hat. So just the one break in this game so far. Shenanigans looking underneath, trying to put in, flick through and just overthrew it. You can see him fall down, knew that maybe he was just a little bit off balance and tried to squeeze it in there rather than just holstering it for a second.
A bit of a messier point for Shenanigans. Constantly looking there for Minakova, but not quite finding her, a bit too zippy.
So I think this is the first point all game where we've seen any side turn it over multiple times. You see that earlier flying, but I don't know how much of it he got, but he got enough to get in the way, get in the peripheral vision and stop the catch being made. So the steadying presence of Artes finds Schulten coming underneath. Here's Blasman. Just about sneaks it through to Dam. Defender off balance. Hidama gets the force back on. High release backhand finds Artes. But just grinding it down. Blasman showing why he's earned himself a spot on this squad with a big layout to retain possession there. Making sure everyone's set in the right position. Port on the mark, checks the disc back in. Blasman tries to find Artes going up line instead, takes the reset to the open Janne Jansen. Here's Schulten. Artes looking deep, he wants the big, looking for Lola Dam, but there's going to be two guys who can get up there and volleyball style, tip it, reject it, back the other way.
That's a bit of a shame as Lola Dam had gone deep earlier in that point, and as I say that they go back and repay the favour, and it's caught easily by Henke.
Right on the money, Sarah.
Yeah, I was just saying, Lola Dam had already gone deep that point, and actually she was more free at the time, but just with the receiver, the person with the disc just didn't feel entirely comfortable with that upwind throw. As I say, if there weren't any boys there, or maybe it was a girl-on-girl matchup, I would back Dam all day, but those two figures of Null and Henke, they are so strong in the air. Did really well to avoid contact, but I think Dam also realised she probably wasn't going to get the best bid on that.
Yeah, just part of having an effective deep main is knowing when to use it and when to holster it, and that one should probably have stayed back in the locker. So Shenanigans turned it over twice, but got them both back, and at the third time of asking, punched it in with a searing deep shot. So Shenanigans just rotating some players through, getting a slightly different line on. Eager to get maybe a slightly different core, a more Shenanigans-based core on the field, rather than some of their newer players. Underway swings towards the far sideline for Coularts. Coularts roasts it deep, looking for Jansen. Oh my goodness, what a throw from Floor Coularts.
I love also how she just casually walks off the pitch, like, yeah, I do that all the time. And she does do it all the time, but that was gold dust. No chance of the Shenanigans player getting anywhere near that disc. Just so well weighted. That Coularts Walt Janssen combination, perfect.
You can't really do it any better than that. So just choosing the gender for this point, Shenanigans going to go with 4 guys and 3 girls. We've seen that GRUT played 4 women quite a lot. Maybe feel that, not necessarily that's where their strength is, because there's depth all around, but maybe that feel that matchup-wise they prefer those looks. Defensively, just going to have a little bit of rotation. Koemans is going to come off. Van der Weeden's going to cross over to the D line, maybe hoping that if they get the turn, they've got a solid handling presence.
Also just noticed that Joris Steneker is not really in kit. So I think he's sitting this game out due to maybe a small injury. Hopefully we'll be able to see him again in this final game, as this would be a big loss defensively for GRUT. But other than that, strong D-line coming out for GRUT, hoping to get a turnover a little bit closer to this end zone.
Ball from Baston de Jong is fielded by Shenanigans. They're going to look deep once more. Henke is there. Jansen's in coverage, tries to jump it into the end zone. He's not going to be quite in there. And the quick flip to the goal ties us at 6 apiece. And with half at 7, we're in a galaxy point scenario here, Sarah.
Jansen going deep, The only thing that slowed him down was the turn to look if the disc could come. I think when you're marking someone like Henke, who they've always put to in this game, don't bother looking until somebody in the sideline shouts up, because I think if he hadn't looked behind him and taken that 1 second and just went full gung-ho deep, he would have had a better position on that D.
Wasting no time, just popping it in for the goal. So we mentioned we've only had 1 break in this game. It's gone GRUT's way. So they've got the chance, receiving after half, to do the old 2 for none, get 2 possessions without Shenanigans having the disc. And if they could do that, they'd open up a bit of breathing space in this game. It's been very tight so far. Halfway through the game. Game's to 55 minutes today after we lost. Well, I thought we were going to lose a lot more than we did this morning. Torrential downpours, but this afternoon the sun's come out. You can see there's lots of things hanging in the background. Players desperately trying to dry out everything that got wet, which was pretty much everything. And Jansen's just lashing it deep for Kulart. Oh, can she tow it in bounds? Looking at the back of the end zone. Yes, she can. Doing it in style. Gets a nice round of applause. What a just unbelievable stuff from GRUT.
Yeah, he got even a round of applause from Shenanigans. Just thinking, fair play, fair play. So GRUT's winning the Galaxy points, but I kind of use that in inverted commas, seeing as they were up a break. So this is going to be ideal for GRUT, now coming out on offense. Choosing 4 women, they now have the choice of gender. I like the call.
Yeah, Windmill using mixed ratio rule B, where there's a dictating end zone which chooses the gender matchup. We see just that scorching deep. He barely looks. He just catches it. He doesn't even know. He doesn't even look. He just knows that that's going to go. And it's inched perfect to the back of the end zone. And then back to the mixed ratio rule. Yeah, there's a dictating end zone which chooses whether we're going to go which 4 and 3 you go, and then that end zone switches at half time. So the end zone to the left of your screen that GRUT have just scored in is now the dictating end zone, and we see 4 women coming out on this O-line for GRUT.
This is a pretty dominant line for GRUT. Very powerful with Jansen, Van der Weijden, Dam, Leininger, Minards, Goularts, and Boom.
I mean, you say it's a pretty dominant line for GRUT. I think most of their lines are, to be honest.
No, I know. I mean, I do realise like all their lines are fantastic, but this is definitely having Dam and Goularts on the same line doesn't happen very often, actually.
It's a little bit unfair, almost. But you mentioned, right, we usually see Goularts playing O and Dam patrolling the D. Bit of grey cloud cover coming overhead now. Oh, just an overthrow. Shenanigans smart, wise to it, head ahead, looking around, makes the catch, wasn't the target, but saved the bacon anyway. Nice inside forehand from Minard. Centering past to Boom. Oh, the forced bites. I thought they were going to get it over his head. Boom clears out behind. See the wind really beginning to pick up now. Shenanigans jams it in to floor Goularts, and they do the 2 for none. They've opened up a 2-point advantage now, 8-6 to GRUT. Wasn't their cleanest point, but they made it work.
I believe we refer to these kind of points as family points, as I'm pretty sure everyone on that line touched the disc. I do like that when that happens. It's not just centered around 2 people, 3 people. Great grab from Leininger on the line. Also did really well just to keep her feet in. Also just need to be alert. I would definitely say in mixed in particular, there's a lot of jump balls. And sometimes there's complete misreads. I know it happens in the women's game, but it's always really impressive when there may be a jump ball from 2 men going deep and having that girl just read the play better.
You always got to have your head on a swivel. You can't just be focused on what am I doing. You need to see the field as a whole, because you do get situations like that. So, GRUT's D-line taking the field. Baston de Jong has the disc ready to pull. Signals that we're ready to go. And we'll see. Shenanigans can fight back. Oh, that pull just about lands in bounds. Rolls out the sideline. Good field position here for GRUT. Trapping them on right on that front cone. Nice centering pass, getting it off the line. Bit of a bump on the mark. Not happy with that.
Yeah, especially when there's already been a discussion earlier in the game that the contact was a bit too much. This time it is going to get called. Have to give it to Bastion de Jong. I've seen him pulling this weekend, and there was literally several pulls on one of the posts where it went around the lights of the field, completely out, and then just landed in. Pinpoint pulls here from Boston.
And if you can do that, you can get it to go out of bounds and come back in late. It prevents the offense from attacking the disc and getting play started a little bit early, stealing a bit of field position. Henke has it on the sideline. Squeezes it down to Port. Centre back to Henke. Oh, trying to run the quick disc movement. Just rushed it a little bit. We've seen that once or twice from Henke, actually.
Yeah, a bit too rushed. I know he wants to play a quick style of ultimate, but sometimes you do need to set a pivot foot, especially when it's got wind like this.
The receiver got a hand to it. Couldn't quite bring it in. That's nice snag there from Scholten. Dam has it. Being a bit cluttered. Finds Scholten. Oh, flying bid is just shy. Already players new to the team. Playing in that GRUT style, really willing to throw themselves around. Henke. Downfield, nice jab step, creating separation. Shows the hammer, but it doesn't really look like doing that. Henke has it. Looking maybe to get an up line. Nice. A round break going backwards to get it around the mark. Right on the doorstep of the end zone. Nice continuation. Finds the target for the goal. Shenanigans have looked much less assured in their offense than GRUT have, but they're making it work and they're keeping touch in this game. 8-7 down.
Can't help but feel that there was a little bit of napping going on there in the end zone, leaving somebody wide open. But having said that, I do think the girls from GRUT can afford to poach a bit more. I did see Lola Dam poaching off the girl handler. Why not? You know that with Dam in the vicinity, she's also going to get involved in plays. So I don't think that's a bad call at all from GRUT if they've made that decision. Just think, given the fact that a lot of these plays have rotated around the men from Shenanigans. Wise choice, tactically.
Didn't quite pay dividends that time, but be interested to know if they keep doing that later in the game. About 20 minutes left here before the cap goes on. Cap rules for bracket play. You finish the point when the hooter goes. If you're then within one, you play to a standard cap +1. Otherwise, it's game over. So you need to keep touch. You need to keep it tight all the way through. And kind of those epic cap comebacks if you're not close enough. Oh, run through D. I think Linehanger gets slowed up ever so slightly. They allowed Rosalind to come steaming through and get the block. So Shenanigans can break back and draw us level here. On the doorstep of the end zone, running. First through plays through their women, trying to attack that front cone. And it's going to be a pick. It was very cluttered in the middle of the field.
I think the store count is also getting a bit high. Max can come in on 6, but Dam is signaling 5.
They're squeezing it down the line. Oh, the bid got a lot of a hand to it, but just not quite enough. Ever so slightly too far out in front.
I think the prayers are answered there for GRUT. That was very, very unlucky from the Shenanigans player for that disc to be too far out in front. He was wide open.
Yeah, it feels GRUT played a get out of jail free card a bit there. Dam now crossing back over to the O-line. Trying to isolate Van der Weyden. Said it's boom in the centre of the pitch. Low release, finds Janssen. Thinks about Dam going deep. Fakes the hammer, and he will do it. Swing around the back. A couple of drops of rain now beginning to fall. This is most unwelcome.
Don't jinx the weather gods here, Benji. We haven't got raincoats on.
Coulthard puts the hammer up. Oh, this is dicey and this is spicy, and what a snag from Janssen. The Shenanigans defender got close, not quite close enough, and he kept up afterwards. But hell of a take that from Walt Janssen. You look speechless, Sarah.
I am speechless. I've seen some pretty spectacular grabs from Walt Janssen, but that was dicey, spicy, like you said. But they're the most rewarding. So we'll see this here on the replay. It was ridiculous, to be perfectly honest. Coulthard's coming under and goes, why not? I have nothing to lose. Starts to walk away even. And then the face of relief she falls. Oh, that's quite funny actually, watching that back on the replay. Not much left to go in this game. So game started at about past, so we've got about 15 minutes. Not over yet, but there is now a bit more of a gap for GRUT.
Yeah, we've shown though that Shenanigans are not going to go down lightly here. They came here to play. I mean, they also came here to party with a name like Shenanigans. I mean, how could you not? Hopefully we'll see them in the festivities later on. I think the beer race might have passed me by, but hoping I can find a teammate to sneak my way in. You game, Sarah?
Yeah, I'll go for it.
Awesome. The matter at hand first, though. See which of these teams is going to take a place on what is I think my favourite day in the Ultimate calendar, Windmill Finals Day. Artes getting big on the mark, but bites a little too hard on the open side, and that allows the swing release valve to go into the middle of the field. Phillips. Oh, working it through the middle of the pitch. Oh, that's a beautiful throw. Can he chase it down? Oh, what a swagger on that. I thought he could have chased it down, but he decided rather than run it and fumble it, he'd go for the spectacular layout grab. Bit of an eye roll from Sarah, but man, it looked good.
It did look good. There's no denying it. I do feel like maybe I need to see this again, if that's possible. Maybe it wasn't gratuitous. I'm not quite sure, but let's have a look here. Zippy pass. And we see it floating into space. No denying it was a great grab.
He didn't need to do it, but if I could do that, I mean, I'd do it.
I would break a few ribs to look cool on a live stream. Why not?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. You don't need those anyway. What are they for? Breathing? Rubbish.
So I have to say, very nice also that we did recover from the bad weather this morning. There was even discussions this morning that if there was no play today, what we would do about finals day, but the TDs have pulled this out of the bag. The venue has the best irrigation I think I've ever seen for Frisbee. Just all the water was literally covering every single pitch, and it's just vanished. Where it's gone, I don't know. But this is why. Because we're in the Netherlands, and it's a flat country. Otherwise, the whole country would flood. You've got to have good irrigation.
All right, rub it in. Oh, I'm from the Netherlands. Oh, it's so flat. Betraying your northern roots.
Not betraying my northern roots. I'm just saying with Worlds being in 2020 in Leeuwarden, I think that's pretty good to know that the irrigation here is good.
The last thing we want to see is the Dutch underwater. Boom, trying to isolate Van der Weyden. Still count rising, just sneaks that one through the window. Minard wants it underneath, gets looked off. Coverage was tight. Have a little bit of rotation, getting some different players on this O-line, and Scholten just overthrows Boom. He laid out, couldn't get there. Shenanigans can break now. Checking the disc in quickly, blading it deep. Van der Weyden's in the area, can't get there. Henke makes the catch, flips it to Bethany for the break, and we're tied back up at 9 apiece.
Van der Weyden is not happy. I don't really know what the discussion could be. I think it's between his other players other than the Shenanigans players. He did check the disc in when he brought it back into the line and just wazzed it deep immediately. So not ideal for GRUT. Wouldn't be surprised to see a power line coming out now on offense.
Saw the signal as well. They're taking a timeout here, knowing that now we're getting really tight. This game's going to be so close. A little under 15 minutes left in this game. See here on the replay, not in any mood to hang about. Checks it in, immediately just pings that blade deep. Underwaden got close, not quite close enough. Presence of mind to look around. Great hustle as well from Bethany, just not watching it go up, but really hustling downfield to make sure that when the catch is made, backing the receiver, you're going to be the first option. Get the disc and get that score.
I think Van der Eyden was questioning where the force was as he ran to the disc, tapped it in, and just went for it. No force, you're going to attack the break side of the field. I have to say, he was also in a great position, Van der Eyden, very close to that disc, given it was a quick turnover. But I can also imagine his frustration. It was a bit slow from his other players. So GRUT coming out with a bit more for traditional O-line. Still smiling though, still lots of laughter from the Dutch side.
And this is the reason you come to tournaments like Windmill. Obviously, it's not necessarily as far for GRUT as it is for Shenanigans. But you come to play these tight games deep into the tournament. This is what you play Ultimate for. You want these tight games. You want to be pushed. You want to be tested. And it makes that victory all the more sweeter if it comes. It's the last round of games today. Got bronze medal matches, final Swiss draw games, placement games tomorrow morning before open women's and then mixed finals action here at Windmill 15. And one of these teams will take their place in that mixed final. Got to find out who now. Barthez, disc in his hand. Finds Janssen coming underneath, creating huge separation. A couple of cutters in relatively close. High release reset to Artes. Bernard comes underneath. Oh, she nearly got another D. Did Rosalind. She got a 1 already this game. Bernard, always rock solid for this GRUT team. She doesn't necessarily get as much publicity as her teammates, but she's so rock solid, and so is the deep look to Walt Janssen. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Keep mining that well. GRUT retake the lead at 10-9.
You saw that when Walt Janssen got the disc under, that he got it in acres of space. Shenanigans have to respect the fact that he is a deep threat. So now they're just backing, but not really sure what happened there, but he did manage to go deep and free as a bird. So GRUT's playing to their style that they normally play. They are going to attack that deep space when they see it. Another fantastic shot from Van der Eyden. Also happy to see him. He's continuing to play. He's had struggles with injuries over the last year. So good to see him really at full fitness at this point.
So GRUT, we open up that 1-goal lead at 10-9. This game has been close all the way. GRUT got a couple of points up coming out of the half, but 2 points has been the largest margin the entire game, so it shows just how close and how evenly matched these teams are. Winner of this game will face the winner of Germany-France in the other semi-final that's being streamed right now. It's like Sean Colfer and Hilary Humes on the call for that, but why would you watch that when this game is so good? Or split stream it. Split screen it, watch both, but just watch it without commentary. That's what I do. Not that I'm bragging or anything. Nice downfield. Henke being marked by De Jong. Finds Audrey, dishes the disc back off. It's downfield. Tries to swing around. Good cutting Janssen on the mark. Nice high release backhand, accessing that far side of the field. Henke has the disc in his hands. Swinging it back to Port. On the far sideline. Kind of wonder how long is it going to be before they get a little bit angsty and antsy and really try to access that deep space. There it is, lashing the blade, but again, off balance. Tried to work it around Artes, but couldn't do so. The disc hits the turf, rolls out of the sideline, and GRUT can reopen up that 2-point gap now.
Yeah, don't forget, if you have been following Windmill all day, this is the 4th game for the mixed division. They are starting to get tired, and that blade, not a bad choice necessarily, but just straight to the turf. Execution, not the best. So a lot of poaching coming from Shenanigans, and Giudatta's willing to go, and a big hurt for Martin Colan, seeing Lola down deep, oh my goodness.
Colan's not known as a hooker. Got the job done there, and it's just a bit of a maelstrom underneath the disc. Went for the high release, tried to force it in there to Janssen, but it held up, and there were two Shenanigans defenders. They both combined to get the block on Dam.
Cola not normally known for her hooks, but that was absolute beauty. Shame about the conservation of greatness, though, just for the end zone.
I cannot believe Sean's so new to the team, flying herself around. Yadama just about gets the disc. Here's Henke. Lovely little lead pass there. Finds Stephanie Phillips. Phillips looking around. So I'm back into the middle for Henke. Nice use of the inside out to find the break side. Oh, putting it over the top. That is a beautiful throw. Artists can only applaud. Shenanigans tie it back up at 10. This game is going all the way down to the wire, Sarah.
I have to give credit to Selena Shelton for that layout. It was a shoulder height layout, and she just missed it. She's only 16, been playing for several years already, playing on the under-24 mixed team. You saw the acceleration as well. She really wanted that disc, and I think if everybody plays with the same fire that she's going with at this point, that D-line is going to get break. But as you mentioned, Bendy, we're running out of time now. We've only got 6 minutes left. GRUT need to really hold this point and then go for that break and finish it off. I don't think I could cope with a sudden death game right now. Just want someone to win.
It's a bit like a heavyweight boxing match, isn't it? Just titans going blow for blow. As soon as one gets knocked down, they get back up, and then they can land a bit of a haymaker as well. It's been scintillating stuff to watch here at Windmill. Benji Reese alongside Sarah Sparks. Overwhelmingly delighted to bring you the exciting conclusion of this game. Shenanigans with the spin pull, getting a lot of hang time, but it's just going to drift out of this sideline and into the stands, and GRUT can just take a little bit of a breather, work out their offense, just going in from the brick mark. Getting a bit of rotation through. Blasman's come over to the O-line. It's the first time we've seen Koemans take the field for a while as well.
Stack setting up very deep, and isolation really coming from Walt.
Yeah, split stacking, getting Janssen and Kulats on that far sideline. Kulats, I always wanted the long bomb, head in her hands again, and Janssen nearly bailed her out. Going to be a call though. Janssen thinks he got that disc and it was knocked out.
It's a contested foul straight away, not in agreement there. There were 3 Shenanigans players in that deep space. They knew that Kolaj was going to go for it. See if we can see anything on this replay.
He did look like he had quite a lot of it to me, actually.
Yeah, actually watching that back.
A lot more of it than I thought he had, certainly.
And when it happens in real life, it's really hard to tell. But with that slow-mo,
I did not think he was going to get anywhere near it, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither, but
it's the
he
last
actually
time
looked like he had that.
It's the last time I underestimate Walt Janssen. You think I'd have learned by now, wouldn't you? So Kulats checks the disc back in. This time just going to show a little bit more discretion and swing to Koemans. Dam on the O-line. Shows the huck, puts it back in the holster for now. Janssen faking. Dam is poached. Just going to get the disc. Trying to run a bit of a give-go with Menard. Underneath goes to Blasman. Blasman with the hammer to Walt Janssen. Take a bow, rookie.
Oh, love the shot for Tom Blasman. You actually saw in the end zone Walt Janssen backpedaling. Backpedaling because he saw Blasman with the disc and thought, this is going to be a hammer. That's the connection. Even though he's new to this team, they already know each other so well. So see in the replay, you can't see what Janssen is doing, but he was backpedaling like no one's business. So GRUT still showing offensive prowess in this game. And as I said, we've got 2 minutes left. If GRUT could force this point to drag on and score it, it will be game over. However, if Shenanigans score, there is a very high chance that there will be a cap +1.
It does look like it's heading that way, but obviously you never know which way the ultimate will twist and turn. Baston de Jong has got the disc in his hands. He's going to pull for GRUT. Going with an outside-in backhand, rolling back in bounds, caught just shy of the end zone by Shenanigans. First pass goes to Phillips. Faking downfield. Nearly came in for the poach block, and Shelton decided that she wasn't going to be able to get there. Shenanigans looking deep once more. Position is great, nice, fantastic take even from Henke, under great pressure from de Jong. Bethany let loose an absolute sky ball. Just infinite faith in her receiver, and he repaid that. And how?
Really thought Shelton had noticed the undercut and was going to go in for the poach block, but just didn't. That disc hung quite a long time, but jostling for position as Henke. A few more power lines being called by both sides, so high chance that time is going to go in this point. And as I say that, the jingle starts. So the game will be played out. We are going to game to 13 regardless. So GRUT going to be looking for a smooth offensive possession and keep us on the edge of our seats.
Saw Baston de Jong slap one of the advertising boards on the sideline, clearly frustrated with himself. He thinks he should have got that. Here's Artes. Diamond's played a lot on the O-line in the second half. Wide open, lashing it deep for Coularts. She's got position and she makes the catch with 2 hands. Shows the disc to her teammates. 12-11 up, game to 13. Shenanigans are going to have to hold this point and then break on Universe if they're going to win. GRUT very much in the driving seat now.
I have to say for GRUT, I just think their offensive flow, especially in the second half, has been really, really good. I know that Shenanigans did get a break on them in the second half, but you just know that their deep game's going to work. Even as the one with Janssen, he actually pretty much had it. And there's just so much trust. But also what is so nice about this GRUT team, and we've seen it so many times, there is also trust that if there is a turnover, they will get it back.
We've only seen 2 breaks this entire game. GRUT got one in the first half, and that's been crucial here because it meant they could open up that advantage into the second, holding, coming out of half, and eventually Shenanigans got 1 break back, but they're going to need to get another one if they're to win this game. GRUT will try and ice this game now. De Jong has got the disc in his hand. I've also got Marcia Kuhlen, Lola Dam.
Scholten, Janne Janssen, Lauke van der Weijden, Cheers Artes. That looks like a hot D-line to me. Big pull here from de Jong. It's going to flow and it's going to allow the whole team to get down.
Phillips doesn't get it, just maybe wary of the coverage from Dam. Henke has it. There's an underneath, nice backhand into the middle of the field. Running the give go down this sideline. Henke has it once more. Tries to get this going up line, a round break. Oh, I thought for a little bit it was going to be too far, but lovely float. Perfect touch on that throw. Here's Phillips. Phillips finds Yadama. Here's Henke. Disc on the sideline. First look, immediately inward pivoting towards the middle of the field. Get it off the sideline. Make sure we can really attack both sides. Around goes to Beth. Then he looks downfield. Henke comes underneath. Just about has to fly through because Kuhlen was lurking. And now a nice take once more from Shenanigans. Looking at the end zone. No one really free. Tries to get the hammer to the back of the end zone. One leaves it for the other, and we're going to Universe in the semi-finals, Sarah.
I have to say, much better use of the women net in the Shenanigans offense. Every other point was going to the ladies. Great grab from Bethany, number 12 from Shenanigans. I can't even speak, I'm so excited. Shenanigans. We are going to sudden death. This is my first one on the stream, and especially in other games we've had earlier in the tournament, because the cap stopped it dead, we had the feeling that it looked like a sudden death game, but it was actually no, this team was up at the time when the hooter went off. So this is crunch time.
Call it what you want. Call it Universe point, call it double game point, call it sudden death. This is the big show. This is what you come for, a sudden death semi-final at Windmill, and Shenanigans and GRUT, who have been toe-to-toe all game, are going to play one more point to see who's going to take that berth on finals day.
Don't expect this to be conservative. I still think that if they have a deep option, they're going to go for it. They trust each other. I've said it over and over again. So lots of faith in this power O-line coming out for GRUT.
GRUT have had plenty of sudden death games at Windmill over the years. I remember a couple of years ago they having sensational games against Black Eagles, and they're going to put the big all the way till the end. Fakes the first one. Oh, Atis has to go to ground, but he doesn't make the catch. Oh, nearly got a layout D. Just about sticks with Janssen crossing over to the O-line. Here's Coularts. Janssen finds Van der Weed, and they're just chilling things out a little bit here. Dam's open in acres of space. They're so wary about her going deep, it seems. It's going to let her have that underneath, and she uses it to find Ates down the sideline to Janssen. I wonder if he wants to end it in style. You know he does. Blade towards the back corner. Coularts makes the catch, and GRUT are going to their third successive Windmill final with a 13-10, 13-12 victory over Shenanigans. What a absolute barnstormer of a game, Sarah.
So close the entire game. Got to give it to Shenanigans. They worked so hard. I think people thought prior to this game, Shenanigans, pickup team, don't know each other. They do well, but meh. But they really showed their worth in that semi-final. But you cannot deny the connections that GRUT have. So calm, so free on dead thought. Do you know what? I'm just going to go for the deep space. I told you they weren't going to play conservative.
Shenanigans proved that they belonged in the semi-final, but GRUT they were just ever so slightly better than Shenanigans, and it was the finest margins, an absolute classic in this mixed semi-final. We're going to see that final throw once more. Janssen gets the discs, and he's looking, how can I get Coularts going to that break side? Blading it over the top. She reads it all the way, perfect, right in the post box. And what a way to end this game. GRUT finishing it in style, and would they finish it any other way? I highly doubt it. What a game, Sarah. What a game. Oh, that's going to wrap us up for today. You'll see us again tomorrow on finals day. It's been an absolute pleasure to have been Benji Reese, joined by the one and only Sarah Sparks. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow on finals day.